clear ignorance.
Devastating
But when they
tsunamis
strike,
killed
they are deadly.
130,000 people in 14 countries. It remains one of the
And
deadliest
most costly
disasters in
of
recent
all
history.
disasters.
Many of these deaths could have been avoided if people had been made aware of the
Now,
impending
more and more
catastrophe.
people live and
They
work
would
in
have had
vulnerable
time to
areas.
stay alert. However, no effective
Understanding tsunami risks can save
the
lives
scale of destruction pushed
and
the
reduce
international
economic
community
losses.
to establish the Indian Ocean Tsunami Early Warning and Mitigation System. This international early warning mechanism uses sensors and related technology to detect tsunami and issue warnings to 25 countries in the Indian Ocean region. This permits timely evacuation in the coastal areas and island communities. Effective
Good
early
afternoon,
warning
Pulkit
systems
bhai.
need to be both end-to-end and people-centered. This means that they should launch interventions from the moment a tsunami triggering event is detected. They should also focus on helping communities interpret and react to messages to evacuate. People-centered means designing early warning systems with the engagement of affected communities, taking the needs of the entire population into account, including those most vulnerable. The Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction is the global blueprint to reduce disaster risk and losses. It calls for greater investment in multi-hazard early warning systems, recommending 4 key elements. First, countries must focus on improving their understanding of disaster risk. This means knowing which areas are vulnerable to tsunamis and who could be impacted. This information can be gathered from hazard data and vulnerability assessments. The second element is to develop services that help to detect or predict a tsunami and generate timely warnings. This requires a reliable forecasting system, continuous monitoring of hazard parameters, and effective warning services. These should all be based on a sound scientific basis and reliable technology. Third, it is critical that trusted sources issue warnings that are timely and accurate. An impact-based early warning has clear and simple messages. They should be disseminated through pre-identified communication systems and able to reach remote communities. This enables early action and evacuation. Efforts should be made to bridge what is known as the last mile of communication to ensure that no one is left unaware. Finally, it is essential that communities understand their risks. They must trust the warning service and know how to react. This requires raising awareness, investing in education, and ensuring that preparedness plans are in place. These 4 interrelated elements need to be coordinated within and across sectors and at multiple levels for the system to work effectively. Failure in one component could lead to the collapse of the whole system. The United Nations system collaborates and supports the strengthening of end-to-end, people-centered early warning systems. The UN's Multi-Hazard Early Warning Systems Checklist helps countries ensure that the major elements of an effective early warning system are in place. Tsunamis might be rare, but when they do occur, they can be devastating. The tragedy of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami has left the world with lessons that should never be forgotten. Investing in end-to-end and people-centered early warning systems will save lives, protect livelihoods, and make certain that no one is left behind when tsunamis strike.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome on Gujarat Science City social media platform. Today we are celebrating World Tsunami Awareness Day 2020. हम सब लोग जानते हैं वैसे सुनामी के बारे में तो सब लोगों ने सुना है और जहाँ तक सुनामी की बात आती है तो हम लोगों को मालूम है 2004 इंडिया को सब लोग याद करेंगे और 2011 में जो जापान में हुआ था तो इसका भी हम लोग सब लोग अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं सुनामी। तो यूनाइटेड नेशन द्वारा जो 2015 में यूनाइटेड नेशन ने वर्ल्ड सुनामी अवेयरनेस डे को डिक्लेयर किया है। तो उसका एक एमओयू है कि जो भी नेचुरल डिजास्टर है, जैसे हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि सुनामी है, अर्थक्वेक है, ये पूरे जो नेचुरल डिजास्टर के साथ में हम सबको कैसे सेफ्टी के साथ रहना है, तो इसका एक एमओयू जो साइन हुआ था। तो यूनाइटेड नेशन ने वही दिन से 5 नवंबर 2015 से वर्ल्ड सुनामी अवेयरनेस डे को डिक्लेयर कर दिया। तो इसी ओकेजन पर आज हम लोग साइंस सिटी की ओर से ये इसका जो इसका जो प्रमोशन है, प्रचार प्रसार है, तो उसके हिसाब से हम लोगों ने आज एक लाइव टॉक अरेंज किया है साइंस सिटी की ओर। और इस बार का जो हम लोग थीम देखें तो इस बार का थीम ऐसा है वर्ल्ड सुनामी अवेयरनेस डे का प्रमोटिंग नेशनल एंड लोकल रिस्क रिडक्शन प्लान 2020। अभी हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि ये जो कोविड पैंडेमिक चल रहा है तो उसी के हिसाब से इसके साथ में हम लोगों को नेचुरल डिजास्टर से कैसे अवेयर रहना है और कैसे अपनी सेफ्टी बनाए रखना है, तो ये सब चीज आज हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे। तो सॉरी फॉर इनकन्वीनियंस, वी हैव सम टेक्निकल इशू। तो हम लोग आगे चलेंगे। तो अभी जो ये 2020 का जो हम लोग थीम देखेंगे तो उसमें ऐसा हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे आज कि जो नेशनल और लोकल लेवल में जो डिजास्टर जो रिस्क रिडक्शन है, नेचुरल डिजास्टर के खिलाफ में हमको जो भी सेफ्टी का यूज करना है उससे हम लोग कैसे लड़ सकते हैं। तो ये पूरा एक गवर्नमेंट का और काफी प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उनका पूरा एक पॉलिसी होता है। तो आज उसी के ऊपर में हम लोग बात करेंगे, चर्चा करेंगे। और इसके साथ साथ में आज गुजरात साइंस सिटी की ओर से हम लोगों ने ऐसे एक्सपर्ट को इन्वाइट किया है। तो आज के जो एक्सपर्ट है वो है डॉक्टर मधुसूदन लाल सर। सर वेलकम सर। राव सर वेलकम।
थैंक यू पुलकेश भाई।
तो मैं सर का थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन दे दूं। सर इज ए साइंटिस्ट और वेरी सीनियर पर्सन इन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिसर्च, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात। सर इज अ वेरी सीनियर इन अ रिसर्च फील्ड टेक्नोलॉजिकल, और जो गांधीनगर में अभी है, आप सब लोग जानते होंगे। तो आज का जो सेशन है नेचुरल डिजास्टर के ऊपर में, पॉलिसी के ऊपर में बात करेंगे। तो मैं सर को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आज के सेशन के लिए। सर प्लीज।
पुलकेश भाई एक्चुअली वो पीपीटी स्टार्ट करना है, एक्चुअली वो अपलोड नहीं हो रहा था, अपलोड हो रहा है। तो मैंने शेयर कंटेंट में डाल के स्टार्ट तो किए थे बट वो इधर नहीं आ रहा है एक्चुअली, ब्राउज में जाके।
ठीक है सर, स्क्रीन शेयर कर दीजिए, नो प्रॉब्लम।
स्क्रीन शेयर करूं?
हाँ
ओके।
सर।
पुलकेश भाई अभी दिख रहा है?
यस सर, ठीक है, प्लीज सर कैरी ऑन।
Thank you Pulkesh bhai, and Science City is really very great that they are doing very promotional activities, and Science City is really one of the biggest vision in the country, and it's the biggest science city in the country, and which is having a lot of exhibits and a lot of encouraging school children and promoting science. So today, actually, they have invited me, so I am very thankful to them. Myself, Madhusudan Rao, I am working in Institute of Seismological Research by Department of Science and Technology. It's in Gandhinagar. So I'm going to talk on tsunami, general aspects of tsunami. So before going to the topic, I just would like to give a brief introduction of my institute, like Institute of Seismological Research. It is fully dedicated to seismological research. Actually, its vision is save lives and minimize the damage due to earthquakes, and understand the physics of earthquake occurrences and resource exploration. And main thrust areas are informing the earthquake epicenter within minutes, and providing seismic safety factor for different big structures and microzonation, and long-term seismic hazard assessment and earthquake precursors, and identifying the resources. So if you look at the different areas of work which we are taking up, so it's almost all the studies are under one roof regarding earthquakes. So we are doing geotechnical investigations, seismic hazard assessment, seismic microzonation, seismic and active tectonics, source dynamics, tsunami hazard, and earthquake prediction research, earthquake monitoring, and all the studies are taking place under one roof. It is really unique in the country, and nowhere in the country it's this type of structure is available. So we have a very broad network, like 125 seismic stations in Gujarat. So this is the densest network in the country. So this type of network is not there in any state in the country. So because of this, we are able to measure very small fluctuations in the earth, like very small magnitude of earthquakes also we are able to pick up. And we have 24 permanent GPS stations which will measure very millimeter level accuracy of movements. So this will be very useful for future predictions. And we have 3 multi-parametric geophysical observatories. So they are very useful for earthquake precursor research. And we have different labs, 24/7 data center, geotechnical lab, OSL lab, and geochemistry lab, XRF, and sedimentary lab. So with this, we have very good ambience and very good facilities, especially dealing with earthquakes. So it's almost at par with international organizations. So when you come to this seismic monitoring, so this is the seismic network in the middle. So all these seismic, these are showing the seismic stations, and these stations are connected through VSAT to our data center, and the data is coming to the data center, and our people are sitting there 24/7 mode, and all the earthquakes are located, and they are being sent to via mail and SMS and fax, mobile app, and etc. So that people in previously people are getting earthquake information very lately, like after 2 hours, 3 hours. But now the time, because of our technical expertise, we have minimized it to almost 8 to 10 minutes. So it's almost very useful for especially administrators. If you look at the seismicity of Gujarat, so this is the seismicity of Gujarat. So if you look at the area wise, like Kutch, Saurashtra, and mainland, so Kutch is having more seismicity than other areas, and from 2007 onwards, so the seismicity is decreasing. So it may be that the 2001 earthquake, after 2001, the relaxation period might be over, and now almost stabilized the region. So the other important program of our institute is site-specific seismic hazard studies. So in this, we do a lot of geotechnical, geological, and geophysical surveys at different projects, and we suggest what type of construction should be constructed, like what is the seismic safety factor, and what is the design parameters, so that if they construct according to the design, then so that will withstand with the earthquakes. So there is no damage during the big earthquakes. So even if you look at 2001 earthquake time, in Ahmedabad, some places have a lot of damage, and some areas they don't have any damage because of wrong practices in constructions, and also because of soil nature. So in these studies, we do all the studies, and we estimate how the earthquake would be if at all an earthquake comes, and how the soil responds during that earthquake, and we'll suggest. So based on that, they do construction, and they'll safeguard the constructions. Especially we have covered almost major projects in Gujarat, like Gift City, Statue of Unity, and Dwarka port, and LNG port, and different major constructions we have covered. Apart from this, we have also covered some cities like Bhuj city, and Ahmedabad city, Gandhinagar city, and even we have gone outside from Gujarat to Assam also. Guwahati city also we have completed the microdonation. So this microdonation will give us the what is the area which having more prone to earthquakes, and more prone to hazard, or what are the areas of which type of care we have to take. So with this, we can plan the city in very nicely, and we can control the damage. So coming back to my one topic, which is allotted to me, that is tsunami. Tsunami is a Japanese word. Su is matlab harbor, and nami matlab wave. So tsunami is like a harbor wave. It's a big wave in the ocean, or in water body. So that's called tsunami. And why tsunami happens when the bottom of the ocean displaces in a large way, then it will displace the entire column of the water, and it will create a tsunami waves. So that's called tsunami. So why this tsunami happens, and how the tsunami propagates in the ocean body? So when you have this type of displacement of water, and it starts moving in all directions, and as the depth is very high, so the speed of tsunami wave is also very high, and the height of tsunami is very less at the source point. So when it reaches to the shoreline, the depth of water column is less, and the height of tsunami is very high, and speed is also reduced. So initially it may be having 500 miles per hour at the source point, but when it reaches to the shoreline, it is having something like 30 miles per hour. So at that time, if is having a more height of tsunami, then it will create a lot of damage. On an average, what we observe based on the statistics, that every year we'll get 2 tsunamis in the world. So that may be damaging, or that may not be damaging, but statistically there are average 2 tsunamis are occurring in the world. So Pacific Ocean is the major source of tsunamis and earthquakes. So that is the reason where we almost get every 15 years there is a one destructive tsunami. So of course we have experienced one big tsunami in 2004. That is in Indian Ocean. So that's in Andaman Nicobar Indonesian earthquake. So that is the only one earthquake happened in Indian Ocean having that magnitude, and that has created big tsunami. So far this is the only one record that is available in Indian Ocean. So if you look at the phases of tsunami starts at point, and it reaches to the shore. So while propagating, so the water column get reduced, and the height of tsunami is increased. And when it reaches to the shore, then it is naturally having more height, and it inundates the surface of the land. So where the tsunamis occurs. So if you look at all the statistics, all the tsunamis in the past, historically, if you look at the Pacific Ocean is having 59% of tsunamis are covering in the Pacific Ocean. Before 1900, there are only indirect evidences. So we don't 100% rely on that particular database historical record. But 1900 onwards, we have a at least observational database, and we have everything. So from 1900 onwards, if you separate the statistics, then almost 75% belongs to Pacific Ocean. So the major source of tsunamis are Pacific Ocean. Indian Ocean is having only 4%, and Atlantic 10%, and Mediterranean 9%. So in this way, the tsunamis are occurring in the world. So basically, tsunamis are occurring because of earthquakes. So if you look at the entire globe is divided into different plates. So every plate is having its own velocity, its own motion. So this arrow marks indicates the motion of that plate. So here the African plate, South American plate, Pacific plate, and different plates are having their own movements. So once one wave is moving in one direction and another plate is also moving in another direction, somewhere in some time it crosses each other and it creates a big earthquake. So there are three possibilities, like either the plates are apart from each other, and that's called divergence plates, and there may be one plate is going beneath another plate, that's called convergence zone, and there is another possibility is transform fault, that is one plate is sliding each other. So these are the three possibilities, and where we can get a lot of earthquakes. Almost 98% of earthquakes occur in the entire globe is because of plate tectonics. So this is called Pacific Ring of Fire. So Pacific Ocean is a source of many earthquakes. So this zone is having a lot of earthquakes and also tsunamis. So that's why almost 90% of earthquakes are occurring in this Pacific Ocean. So what causes earthquakes actually? What causes tsunamis? Tsunamis majorly caused by earthquakes. Earthquakes generally the main source of tsunamis, and landslides, volcanoes also almost they are all having the same properties of earthquakes. So almost 90% are because of earth movements inside the water body, and there are some other reasons like some meteorite interruption or some atmospheric reasons are also give some sort of tsunamis, but they are not very much destructive. So if you look at this, the location wise, how these are distributed in the globe. So this red one is indicating the earthquake source, and yellow one is indicating the landslide with earthquake, and this blue one is a volcanic source. So the almost majority of the source of tsunamis are earthquakes. So when you look at the tsunami speed, so tsunami is having a very high speed, like 600 miles per hour at the source, and when it reaches to the shore, so it may be having something like 30 miles per hour. So having this speed, so it travels to entire places, and it reaches to the shores, and it creates a lot of damage. So mainly the velocity depends on GH. G is gravitational force, and H is the height of the water body. So as it reaches the shores, the height of the water body reduces, so the velocity is also reducing. So generally there is a feeling that tsunami waves and tidal waves are more or less same, but not, it's not correct. So tidal waves are different and tsunami waves are different. In tidal waves, generally the uppermost part of the water is only moves actually, but in the case of tsunami, entire water column moves. So generally the cause of tides is wind or some other source, local source, but the cause of this tsunami is large displacement, either from earthquakes or volcanics. So the period of the normal waves is within seconds, but the period of tsunami waves is minutes. So the speed of normal waves is like tidal waves is 50 miles per hour, but whereas in the case of tsunamis, it's more than 500 miles per hour. So the tsunamis are completely different. They are occasionally occurs in the ocean, but tides are continuously occurring. Every day we'll find some tidal waves. So, so as I said, in the deeper part, when the source of earthquake, so at that place, maybe it may be something like 3 miles or 4 miles deep. So there the velocity of wave is very high, like 500 miles per hour. When it reaches to the shore, the depth of the water is only 20 meters, 30 meters. So the velocity is very less. So because of these changes, as I said, that velocity is also dependent on the water column width. So as it reaches to the surface, the tsunami height is also increases. So at the source region, the tsunami height is very less. So that's why if any boat or some sort of thing, ship are there in at the source place, they don't feel any tsunami. When it reaches the same thing reaches to the shorelines after a few hours, then it is having something like 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters height. So that creates a lot of destruction, and we cannot withstand with that height. So, when we talk about tsunami, there are two terms generally talked. Like one is run up and another is inundation. Run up is the how much water is with height, how much water is increased. That's called run up. And how much water is horizontally coming to the landmass. That is called inundation. So these two parameters generally gives indication that how much damage is occurred. If the run up and inundation is very high, then naturally the damage is very high. So tsunami wave is not a single wave. It is continuously changing its wave pattern. So it's continuously the waves are coming, and in this way the waves, some initially the waves might be very low intensity, but as soon as the time passes, the waves, the intensity might be increasing. So that's why we have to be very careful. After a few hours, we should not go into that places where tsunami is happened. So initially that may be very small, so we feel that okay, this is not very high, that we can move around, but it's not the case. In some cases, after few hours, the main waves are coming, and which will damage more than the initial waves. Tsunami warning is very much possible because tsunami waves is having, as I said, this it's about 600 miles per hour, but seismic waves is having more velocity, like 15,000 miles per hour. So seismic waves comes very fast than tsunami waves. So seismic waves, sometimes if distance is very high, some seismic waves will come either 2 hours, 3 hours earlier than the tsunami arrives. So there is scientifically very much scope that we can exactly pinpoint the tsunami movement, and as soon as we have good networking, and already globally the seismic network is very high, and they are able to pick up all the seismic events in minutes, and they are able to model the tsunami waves in a very timely manner. So we can have at least 2 to 3 hours lead time to evacuate our people, and to mitigate our all the areas, and safeguard our people, and at least safeguard our people. So if you look at the death toll, so almost from 1819 onwards, the death toll might be more than 4.3 lakhs due to tsunamis. So it's very high number, and it's a very destructive thing for humankind. So if you look at the destruction pattern also, so almost that once the waves comes into cities or some places, so all the homes, offices, roads, and everything destroys. So we will have a huge cost involved in this. So to reconstruct all the things, and it's really it's a very few hours phenomena, but it has very huge impact. And also we have witnessed so many environmental effects, like landscape completely changes, and our trees and habitats are almost destroyed, and the water supply contaminated, and solid waste also, there is a lot of solid waste, and toxic waste also hazardous, and lot of chemicals, and all this land is not as usual. So we'll have a lot of loss and a lot of environmental effects also. So there are secondary effects are also, like if through the water, so we'll get some malaria from stagnant water, or always we'll find a lot of homes are destroyed, and we are homeless, and there would be some psychological effects also. There is a lot of depression during the time of earthquakes, and During the time of 2011 earthquake, we also witnessed the radiation. So there was a nuclear plant there, and so entire water come into that nuclear plant. So they took a lot of measures to safeguard the radiation increase. But at the time of increase of water, so they don't have any option. So this radiation increases very speedily, and it will harm entire public, entire population nearby that solar nuclear plants. So that's also very biggest effect. So if you look at the tsunami warning centers, internationally there are very well-known warning centers are already established, and they are connected with a lot of seismic stations and a lot of tide gauges and a lot of ocean bottom measurements, and all are continuously monitoring. So in the middle one is Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. This is biggest and oldest tsunami warning center in the world. And then it is a Indian Ocean tsunami warning, and this is a northeastern Atlantic tsunami warning. So in this way, all these warning centers are connected each other, and now we are at least getting very good information scientifically. So before 2004, we don't have any warning center. So because of that, there was some confusion during the time of tsunami. So after that, we have established we have increased our capability, and now we have a very good tsunami center. So which is connected with 3-4 countries, and this is situated here, Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning Center. So generally, these warning centers generally gives the warning in different colors. So the first one is having a high danger zone. So generally, more than 3 meters tsunami is there, or more than 8 magnitude. So generally that type of warning issues. So once the warning issued, then we don't get in much time. So we have to run fast to the higher elevations. So if you look at the tsunami waves, tsunami amplitudes, so this is the scenario. Like what I said, this Pacific Ocean is having a lot of tsunamis, and almost major tsunamis occurred in this part. So this is having a lot of amplitudes. So if you look at the case studies, like this Hawaii is the place where almost many tsunamis occurred in the past. So from 1819 to 2011, there are almost 13 major tsunamis occurred in this part. So this is a travel time of tsunamis, and this 1946 Alaska tsunami 8.6 magnitude, and 1960 Chile earthquake 9.5 magnitude. So this region has continuously getting a lot of tsunamis. I said this every 15 years there is one major tsunami in this part. So here the sources of tsunamis also, some sources are very far from middle of the ocean, and some sources are very nearer to the landmass. So that's why they call it as a distant tsunami and local tsunami. This is applicable for that particular Hawaii region. So distant tsunami, they have some criteria, like so the local government generally issues that so we have a distant tsunami, then people starts moving. So at least they get something like 3 to 4 hours lead time. So when they issue the local tsunami, then they don't get much time. So they have to rush fast. So in that way, they are training the people, they are grooming the people to safeguard, and they make up the people to be ready to face the tsunamis, either from distant or local. So when you come to the Indian scenario, so we have two major sources. That is, one is Makaran coast, and another is the Sumatra region. So these are the two regions where we can expect a tsunami. Already we experienced the tsunami in the past, and in future also we'll expect some tsunami from these two regions. So that's why they are called as a tsunamigenic regions. So in Makaran, actually 1947, November 27, there was an earthquake. So that has given tsunami in this Western India and up to Mumbai also. Of course, 2004 earthquake, Sumatra earthquake, already we witnessed, and we have a lot of damage in the southern states, Tamil Nadu and different southern states. So these are the list of some earthquakes in the past. Like 1762, we got something like 1.8 meters tsunami. 1881 Andaman Nicobar, and 1883 that's also from 2 meters height tsunami was given. 1941 this is also Andaman. This is 1945. This is has given 12 meters tsunami. And 2004, of course, we have seen this actually 30 feet tsunami is occurred in this part. So if you look at this tsunami, 2004 tsunami, the epicenter of tsunami is 280 kilometers from northern Sumatra, and it is about 2100 kilometers from Indian coastline. So this earthquake mainly happened because of Indian plate and Burmese plate, because of Burmese plate, and its magnitude is more than 9, and tsunami height is 30 feet. So because of this tsunami, we almost many countries are affected, like Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, Malaysia, Bangladesh, Somalia. So many countries are affected with this tsunami in 2004. And India also, Andaman Nicobar, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh. So all these states are affected very much during the time of 2004 tsunami. So if you come to this Makaran coast, Makaran tsunami, so this happened in 1945 on November 27th. So all this western part, like Gujarat region, so it is coming around 200 minutes. After 200 minutes, the tsunami wave is coming to Gujarat coast, and also it's going up to Mumbai also. So we have done this tsunami amplitude and tsunami inundation map for Gujarat region. So if you look at this tsunami, tsunami can reach to different places, Lakpat, Koteswar, Dwarka, Oka, and different coastal regions up to almost 2 hours 40 minutes. And how much amplitude can be expected if any earthquake happens in future in Makaran coast. So if we have taken magnitude 8 as a base, and we have made this map, and we have alerted these regions. So at what time, what amplitude tsunami can occur. So based on this information, at least we can safeguard our people. And also we are trying to monitor this Makaran coast in a very close manner. Like very small movements are also we are monitoring. So if you look at the infrastructure for tsunami, monitoring of tsunami, Inquise Government of India has established a very big network in India. They have made very good tidal network. Almost 50, 60 tidal stations they have established in the entire coast of India, and also they have established some stations in ocean also. So like they have pressure sensors, and they have some accelerometers. So all this data is coming live to the inquiry center in Hyderabad, and they do make a lot of modeling, and they give the warning to the people. So in this scenario, like initially they identify the large earthquake in tsunamigenic zone, and also then they'll create some scenarios based on the models, like topography and bathymetry. Using all this input, they create some models, and using those models, so they estimate what is the amplitude expected at what time. So that will be very useful for our coastal people to evacuate their places, and they safeguard themselves. And also government can take measures for evacuating or mitigating them. So this is the general pattern they have adopted. That is, they have already collected the historical data, bathymetry data, coastal topography, coastal vulnerability, and also they are monitoring so many stations, tide gauges, and so the coastal monitoring stations, and also they have connected with the land-based seismic stations. Wherever any small earthquake is there, that information is going to the their tsunami warning system. So once they collect this tide gauge network, and even that ocean bottom pressure sensors, all this data is going to this tsunami warning system, and they'll do conduct numerical modeling, and they'll give the warning. So this entire process generally take few minutes, but the accuracy is very important. Like we have very good network of stations in terms of seismic or in terms of bathymetry, in terms of pressure, and so we are able to accurately measure the model the tsunami, and we can able to generate the warning, and this type of warning can be given, like how the tsunami is moving, that we can give in numerical model. So this is the scheme, like once they detect the earthquake, so they see that whether that earthquake is belongs to tsunamigenic or not, then they will calculate the magnitude and hypocenter, and then they will evaluate the tsunami. Then they start doing a lot of other processing, like other numerical modeling and other things. Then they'll issue the bulletin. So once they issue the bulletin, they start updating it based on the continuous data. So this is the scheme, like this very highly numerical and simulated computer-based modeling. So based on this model, we create the numerical models actually, so that we can forecast the tsunami. So ultimately, we find that tsunami height and arrival time. So these two are very important parameters for saving the people from coastal regions. So this type of maps generally creates after modeling, like at what time, what type of arrivals are there, and what is the water level in that particular part. So based on that, we can estimate that so whether which part of the thing we have to concentrate more. So based on tsunamis, especially 2004 Indian tsunami, almost 16 years are over. So based on that, we have to learn some lessons from our experience. So actually these earthquakes, especially in intraplate regions, are very less. They are not continuously happening. So every 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. So there is a lot of gap in recurrence period. So because of that, we forget what is happened. To retain those memories and to protect our future, so we have to maintain some. We have to make these memories in good form. Like in Indonesia, they have made very beautiful monuments like this. Like this is one barge. It is almost 2 kilometers swept during the time of tsunami. So they have kept as it is, so that visitors can visit and they can feel that. So this big structure is moved almost 2 kilometers. So that will show the impact, how the impact of tsunami is. And also they have made very beautiful museum. So this museum, they are trying to retain it for generations. So in after 100 years or 200 years, people can witness. So during the 2004, there was a big tsunami in southern part, and there was a lot of destruction. So all the displays and everything is protected and here in this museum. So we have to encourage such museums in at least the affected areas. And also we have to technologically we have to improve, especially for making earthquake early warning systems or tsunami early warning systems. So continuously the technology is changing. So we have to increase the networks. We have to improve the understanding. We are also increasing the different techniques also. So using new techniques, using new methodologies, cloud-based technologies, data mining. So a lot of things we can incorporate this, and we can make better systems for future warnings. Of course, technology is not at all a complete thing in this particularly tsunami point of view, because once we issue the notice, we can only issue the notice that scientifically we can say that tsunami is going to happen next 3 hours to Gandhinagar or Ahmedabad. So the people, the community should be ready. that that readiness generally make a lot of difference. That readiness only comes after a lot of exercise. Like we have to educate the people, we have to aware the people, and we have to conduct a lot of drills, and we have to make communities, like we have to make very good networks, like doctors network, or some we have to make some very elevated parts readily available, and readily we know the routes, and people should be aware that how to protect themselves during the time of tsunamis. So like in Indonesia, there is a lot of drills generally take place, and this is one picture where actually people are just taking one guy to the hospital in very speedy manner, and people are moving. So like in this picture, actually the moment the warning came, so everyone is moving on their own pace, and they're trying to go to elevated places. So this type of preparedness or this type of readiness is very much required in the society, because it's completely related to the society also. So the more we aware the people, the more we can save the people. Like even inquires is doing inquires NIDM and GIDM and GSDMA and NDMA, are many government organizations are putting a lot of efforts. Even a lot of NGOs are also putting very good efforts to educate the people. Maybe this may not be a frequent affair, but the moment it comes, it gives a lot of destruction. So we have to protect and we have to aware of the threat. So of course we have to, in this way we have to keep our society vigilant, and we have to keep our society mature to face any such disasters. So this is a sentence given by UN Secretary General. We cannot stop natural calamities, but we can and most must better equip individuals and communities to withstand them. Should disasters strike again, and it will in some part of the world, we must be able to say that we did everything humanly possible to build resilient societies. So we need to prepare the resilient society, either technologically, scientifically, and humanly. So these are the this is a human chain. This is हम सब मिलके इसको अच्छी सी resilient society बना सकते हैं, and in future any tsunami occurs, either west coast में हो और southern part में हो, हम लोग अपनी लोगों को हम बचा सकेंगे, and वो एक उम्मीद से हम लोग सब कोशिश कर रहा है कि इसको अच्छी सी इफेक्टिवली बनाए, एंड इन फ्यूचर सुनामी से कम नुकसान हो, उसके लिए आशा करते हुए मैं आई विल क्लोज अप माय टॉक. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सो मच. पुलकेश भाई, thank you so much, and if you have any questions, please
Okay, sir. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Sir, after video one कीजिए.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Such an informative session, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we received a lot of questions, but some question answered during the session, sir. So we thought of some questions, 2-3 questions, sir. Sir, first question is, which countries in the world are in the more risk of tsunami?
As I said, this Pacific Ocean is mostly threat for tsunamis. Almost 80% tsunamis happen in that particular Hawaii region actually. almost 13 to 14 big tsunamis happened in the last just a few years before.
Thank you, sir. Sir, second question is, what are the natural warning signs of a tsunami?
Actually, earthquake is the main warning. Actually, we have to monitor earthquakes. 90%, as I said, landslides, earthquakes, or volcanoes are mainly the movement of the earth. So that is the main source of tsunami. So if you monitor the earthquake perfectly, in modern era, actually, because of digital equipments and penetration of seismic stations are increased in a great way. So because of that, we are getting very accurate information about earthquakes. Once we get the information, then already numerical models are developed, and we can estimate the tsunami waves in almost 2 to 3 hours before they arrive.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, this is the last question, sir. Sir, what season do tsunami occur?
Actually, we have to go to the elevated parts. Especially, we have to first see that what are the sources, expected sources from for our region. So, if you are sitting in Gandhinagar or Ahmedabad or Gujarat region, so Makaran coast is the major source for our region. So, whenever any earthquake happens there, then the tsunami occurrence to coastal region is possible. So already we have made some numerical modeling, and we have given at what time the tsunami is going to affect. So the moment they get some warning, so they have to see, they have to in mind, they have to keep in mind that there is some sort of elevated parts, like either हिल पे चले जाए, ना तो कुछ बड़ी 9th फ्लोर पे चले जाए, ऐसा कुछ हाइट पे चले गए तो देन हम लोग को अपने आप को बचा सकते हो.
Thank you, sir. We conclude our session, sir. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Such a informative, nice, wonderful session, sir. Thank you for giving us time to Science City and today's session, sir. Thank you so much on behalf of Gujarat Science City and our Department of Science and Technology. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all participants for joining with us. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Puleshpa, and Science City is doing really wonderful job in popularizing science, and especially children. So once they come to the Science City, they feel like one day they can enjoy everything, and really you have very good attractions, and we hope that you increase more and more, and Science City will be a world destination in future. Thank you, Pulkeshpa, and all the members who are viewing this. Thank you so much.
Sir, we are very much thankful to you and Sir ISR, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.